what is happening. I should be going live soon. Let's see if it happens. There we go. We are live. Very cool. Should be live across multiple networks. We should be live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And I am indeed drinking some wine today. How are y'all doing? Feel free to leave comments and engage. I haven't tried doing something quite like this in a while, but we'll see how it goes. Because I find live streams kind of fun. You get to engage with people and have some contemporary conversations. It's very low editing work. Basically, no editing work that needs to be done. I can just go in and get out and have a good time. While some people join us, oh, look at that on Twitter, on YouTube. I got a different meme. We got an interesting announcement. I'm going to be talking about Jackalope. I went to Jackalope last couple of weeks. Spent a couple of weeks in the woods, offline, entirely unplugged from the internet, which was God. It was a blessing. Oh my goodness, I really needed it. It's the internet in the world is so wild right now, and if all you do is look at Twitter, you think the world is ending. But once you're in the woods and you're, you know, not paying attention to any of it, suddenly it all seems quite. It reminds you that we're basically ants, you know.
Yes, like
We're very interesting ants, but we're not that important, you know. And I mean, I think it was very refreshing to take a break from the world. So anyway, I hope to talk more about that. But before we get started, I just want to show you guys this. This is Charlie. Welcome. Nice. I'd like to introduce you guys to Charlie. Charlie is our phone huddle character. He mascot, and Charlie really kind of has some crazy adventures around some of his owners. He well, you know how it is, the life of a phone, right? They fall off your pocket every once in a while, and it's very anxiety provoking, exciting. So here's him dropping off a parachute, because phone huddle is kind of like a parachute for your phone. That's right, like a parachute for your phone. We're gonna be traveling to San Diego, to the United States, real soon, so we can actually ship some phone huddles. We actually can't always easily ship them fast. So if you want to get a phone huddle, we'd be happy to oblige and give you some of the ones that we have left. We had a great deal of success in the United States in this Jackalope event, selling them. We sold about 15 of them out of 20 that we brought. This is a phone huddle, if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about. It's a device that is designed to hold on to your phone and protect it from loss or fall damage, which is quite useful, and a lot of people are actually finding it useful, which is great. Very exciting. There's a lot of things that come with it, including a couple of pieces that I actually don't have available to me right now. One of them to hang your phone huddle from your car, so that you can actually look at the screen while you're driving. It's attached to the to this ring grip. You just paste it on the plastic next to your car, and the dashboard, and then it's just basically another panel, so you can sort of do that thing, right? And it also comes with a pop socket, so that you can have a better grip, which is great. It's very useful. I've been doing this for about 5 years, and in the past couple of years, I decided to sort of, turn it into an actual product. And business is good. Business is growing, and things are going well, and I'm very happy about it. So if you want to get a couple of phone huddles, go to phonehuddle.com. It's phone huddle, like HODL. That's how you do hodling in Bitcoin. That's how you hold things. You don't hold things in Bitcoin. You hodl them. Welcome to the internet. Welcome to the future. We are changing language, guys. We're changing language and culture, and one misspelling at a time. So yeah, phonehuddle.com. Go check it out. Get one while we got them. We're not sure if we're gonna be able to make any more of them easily because of this COVID crap and all the supply chain nonsense. And so everything, we don't know. We don't know if we're gonna be able to make more. We sure are gonna try. But yeah, we get them while they're hot. Does Thomas Hunt own a phone huddle? I believe I gave him a phone huddle. That's right. Has he been showing it off? Has he been talking about it or showing it off? Because we definitely gave him one. So I'm happy to hear that he might have one. That's great. Very very exciting. So anyway, that's that news. What else is going on with you guys? Come on, give me some comments. What is exciting and interesting in your life? What should I talk about? I want to tell you guys about this event that I went to. It's called Jackalope, and excuse moi. It's called Jackalope, and it's this sort of anarchist event in the woods. It's a camping event, and man, it was a great time. We went all the way there from here, from Baja California, where I'm working with Ugly Old Goat. If you don't know Ugly Old Goat, I'm sure I'll be happy to tell you about him later on. But basically, we made our trek all the way to Arizona, where we did we went camping, and we had the help of some friends and the support of some friends, and we got to just unplug from the internet for 2 weeks. And now, man, I gotta tell you, highly recommend it. Highly recommended to get away from the internet these days. If you're like me, looking at following Twitter, following American politics, following anything really that you're probably following right now, is probably a mess, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but like every topic that I see on the internet, there's like some level of toxicity, there's some drama, there's some politicization. It's like everything is politicized today, and it's really stressful and really overwhelming and really distracting, and I think that's on purpose. And um so it was really nice to get off the internet for a little bit and just go walk around on the woods and the beautiful, it's a beautiful natural reserve area, I believe, in Arizona. Lots of pine trees, and they had a nice lake nearby, and we drove there. And I mean, it wasn't an easy trip because America's locked down, and it's not easy to get in. I turns out I had a special access card, legal access card to get in. I'm not gonna go into details, but bottom line, we managed to get into the United States from Mexico, and then we got out up there against many odds and against definitely all kinds of popular common sense, right? Because anybody that you would have asked would have told me, "Are you crazy? Arizona, it's the center, the global capital of COVID-19. It's basically suicide." And then we're gonna go hang out with a bunch of anarchists right before a 2020 election. The prophesized end of America. Right before the last president of the United States uh, plays the game one more time. And but we did it. We did it because it made sense, and because we needed the nature. We needed a break, and so we went. And I got to tell you, Arizona is unbelievably hot, and like steaming hot. And by hot, I don't mean sexy, even though I'm sure there's some potential down there. But it's just straight up boiling. Like, you could fry an egg on the street, no problem. It'd probably burn. Um, and but we have some friends in Arizona, and they're very nice to help us get there. And so we went to Arizona, hung out, maybe had a couple of drinks at a pool somewhere, and then eventually made our way to this forest. And literally, as we get into the forest, we gotta, you're on the sort of interstate highway or whatever, or the sort of highway, and then we cross make a right into the woods, into the sort of like grainy path. It's not the best road ever. Come on, anarchists, we gotta take over because the state is failing to make better roads in this forest. And yeah, next thing you know, like literally as soon as we cross over, pretty much like right as we're entering this forest, a hailstorm begins. Like, we're in Arizona, right? Like, you exit the car and your lips start burning of the heat, right? But suddenly it's chilly, and suddenly there's ice falling from the sky. Like the gods are shooting, with a Gatling gun at us just to fuck with us. So ice starts falling, and there's water everywhere, and the roads get all murky and gooey. And my God, it was a very exciting few minutes. I might have a clip my phone somewhere around it. I'm sure there's some clips about it somewhere on the internet, and um, so that was very exciting. Full on hailstorm. So everybody that was already at the camp, that were camping at this sort of campground in Jackalope, were basically entirely humidified beyond their wishes, I'm sure. And even there's like a natural little river that formed and like cracked sort of one of the roads in the forest. So it's crazy times. But okay, so we you know we managed to get through it because our friend's SUV truck was a four wheeler, and he, despite his nervousness, managed to drive through the whole chaos. It was actually Josh. It was Josh that was driving. I think he's okay with me revealing this fact. So anyway, that was a good time. And Josh Sigerman from World Alternative Media, who's actually talking about some really interesting stuff, and got to talk a little bit more about it. He's talking about like ancient civilizations and some of the ancient civilization stuff that like what they were trying to communicate across time. Some of the stories that they're telling, some of the stories about the great flood that happened many times years ago. There's a whole like micro industry. I'm a total like tourist to all this stuff, right? But there's this like the whole industry of ancient history historians and enthusiasts that talk about like how the Sumerian texts and some of these tablets and some of the myths and legends that seem to show up everywhere in different words and in different memes, but generally talking about the same thing, which is the sort of this great flood that might have happened somewhere around 10,000 years ago. I mean, one of the main historian guys has been on Joe Rogan a couple times or a few times already, and they have a great show on Gaia talking about it. But um, and it's and there's the whole thing about the Mayan calendar ending on 2012, but apparently if you use the Gregorian calendar, it actually ends on 2020. So the Mayan calendar is ending this year, according to people that are into this. I haven't done the math myself. I haven't verified this one, so I'm kind of trusting, but I believe it. And yeah, so the Gregorian calendar, Mayan calendar is ending this year, and then there's all I don't know. There's just all these signs, all these sort of kind of apocalyptic signs, sort of that I'm just seeing here and there, and it's all very strange, and it's a fascinating tale. And I think some of the people there, and I mean, I've kind of had to process and deal with this concern. There's some concern that there might be a new flood coming, and part of the concern there is that the polar shifts, the north and south pole are shifting. They've been shifting in the past few years, and they're accelerating in their shift. And part of my understanding of the consequences of this is from talking to people that are much nerdier in this regard than I am, is that actually weakens the magnetic there's a kind of magnetic shield around Earth, and this shift of poles is actually weakening that shield, and that shield actually protects us from solar winds. There's sort of this solar radiation, like solar farts that the sun erupts in our general like direction every once in a while. And these things are magnetic in nature, they're electric in nature, because the universe is electric in nature, and there's a whole sort of theory of science dealing with electric universe theory, which you might find interesting. I find it fascinating. I think it's very accurate from what I know, from my noobish enthusiasm about the topic. And and there's this guy on Twitter that's like actually like predicting earthquakes with based on solar flare metrics. So like whenever there's a solar flare, there's some ways that I guess we can measure it, and he's predicting earthquakes with um, great accuracy, which is terrifying, but also very hopeful in a way. And but yeah, so this shield around Earth is actually weakening because of the shift on the north and south pole. And a proper earthquake can cause floods and can maybe dislodge some big spikes of ice in the North Pole. And I don't know. I mean, it's just a little chaotic, and that's like about as far as I've gone down the road. But there's people that are legitimately concerned that there might be another great flood, and if there was such a flood, I mean, it would be probably worse than nuclear war. I mean, at least the air wouldn't be entirely toxic, though it would probably trigger some of these nuclear energy factories. But it would be a big, 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 big fucking problem. It would be a huge disaster. Many of the coasts would be wiped out. There's some maps. Apparently, Edgar Casey has some. This guy that's allegedly some guy that predicted the future very accurately. I also haven't done the math, but yeah. So there's this sort of maps that kind of predict what would happen if the water levels rose to a certain level. It would wipe out a majority of the population, and it would definitely wipe out the coasts. But it would also like reveal a certain set of like it would create new continents, right? So apparently there's this continent called like Latimer or Limera or something like that that I've never heard about before. That would be basically be somewhere around Hawaii between America and Asia on the west coast. And there's two plains of Atlantis that allegedly would show up. That's one of the predictions. I'm sure there's more nuance in that regard, but I just found that topic really interesting and very refreshing. And it makes me kind of want to move to the top of a mountain somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Kind of makes me want to move to the top of a mountain. However, it could also all just not happen, right? And there certainly isn't a timing indicator, right? In trading, we have something called indicators, and then we have timing indicators, right? And a timing indicator helps you narrow down when something is going to happen, but a general indicator just tells you that risk has increased for a certain scenario, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Time indicator is a little bit more accurate as far as when it's going to happen. It's not entirely predictive, and so I find these general sort of historical facts and this sort of these mythological memes to be kind of indicators in start, because if there was like ancient civilizations that were advanced, right, like there's a lot of things, for example, about the Egyptian pyramids that we don't understand, some of the accuracy of the cutting of blocks and the resonance sort of devices and paths that they open. And I mean, it's a whole thing. I'm sure some of you guys have gone down the rabbit hole. If you haven't, you should. But yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonably likely that there's some that there were some sort of advanced civilizations before older than 10,000 years ago, before the ice age, and I don't know, a long time ago. So that's an interesting topic. I'm curious what you all think about it. I'm just ranting about things that I'm thinking about, and I'm gonna continue to do that for a few minutes, because why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? Let's see. We got some comments here. Dylan S. What's up, Dylan? How you doing? We got a warrior poet. I'm a climate scientist. I can answer some questions if you like. Yeah, so 17,000 years ago, sea level was 120 meters lower. Fascinating. Hey, man, if you want to come on the show, hit me up, PM me on Twitter, or send me a reply on Twitter, and I'll send you a link and we can talk for a little bit. So that's a really interesting topic. I mean, I'm really curious about that. I hope you don't worry. You don't have to wear a mask to come on the show. This is a COVID-free show. This is a COVID agnostic show. So no worries there. Feel free to take it off your Twitter too. Yeah, there's nobody wearing masks in this event, by the way. It was complete anarchy. And it was very refreshing because frankly, all these masks made me feel like a fucking dog. And I can barely breathe in them. They're very yeah, fuck, I misspelled the title of the show. Of course I did. I'm gonna blame the wine on this one. But yeah. Vlad says you're the Lizard King, and never mind, he's replying to something else. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so it's just crazy stuff. Doesn't it feel like it's apocalyptic times right now? Don't you all feel a little apocalyptic, you know? Don't you all feel like shit's kind of hitting the fan? 2020, man. It just keeps getting better and better. It just keeps getting better and better. It just doesn't stop to deliver. By the way, as we speak, there's a hashtag Netflix pedophilia trending on Twitter with 63,000 tweets. What the fuck's going on? Is there like a pedophile mafia in the world? Is that what's happening? Am I gonna get shot if I talk about this? There appears to be that there's some sort of pedophile mafia in the world. that's running the show behind the scenes, and there's blackmail everywhere, just floating around. There's just blackmail. There's just laptops with a bunch of blackmail of the most powerful people somewhere in some building, somewhere probably in the United States and Europe, maybe in China as well. It's just it's just blackmail that lets you control people in power. Like imagine that. What kind of leverage? Like what the fuck? We think there's all these processes, all these sort of ways, proper ways to do things, but little did you know that someone's got gnarly fucking blackmail on that person that needs to be making an unbiased decision, and and they're not going to be very unbiased, are they? If you're tripping up against somebody else's interests, so there's this superstructure. There's this superstructure emerging from the shadows of society, and it's not emerging. It's been there apparently for a long time. It's just that people are seeing it. People are becoming aware of it, and apparently Greece made pedophilia legal, and then now there's a bunch of Hollywood stars moving there. What the fuck? A bunch of other people moving there. Interesting. Wonder what's going to happen there. And I think the weird thing is that people aren't going to put up with it. People aren't going to. They're not going to put up with it. I'm not advocating any kind of violence, but people are gonna. There's people that are not gonna put up with that. So how uncomfortable. So there's some very nervous people out in the world right now. Very very uncomfortable, nervous people out in the world today, and they probably should be, shouldn't they? Anyway, let's not say any more about that topic for a while. Um, yeah, Mr. Warrior Poet, send me a message. Let's talk a little bit about it. I have no idea where you messaged me. I guess on Periscope. I never even used Periscope. Hang on a second. So something else that was kind of cool about this pork fest, sorry, this Jackalope event that I went to. It was a very libertarian event, very anarchist esque event. There's a lot of hippie looking people, very spiritual folk there. I had a great time hanging out with them and meeting all kinds of different people there. Um, and one of the things that I really liked, so there's this group of I'm gonna loosely call them hippies. I know that hippies have like a bad reputation in the United States to some degree, but they're to me a Latin American guy who's only observed this culture from the outside. Hippies are just kind of like free loving, naturey kind of people, right? And that's what I saw. I saw very nature oriented people, young people that were very interested in just kind of connecting with themselves and with nature and with others. And they had like this bonfire that they made, and so they dug out a hole in the heart, in the shape of a heart, and then they put a bunch of stones around it, and then they got a bunch of like little cool things they found in the forest and other people gifted, and made a little shrine, and then they put a circle around it, a circle of stones, and it was called the prayer, the fire for prayer, so prayer fire. And and it was such a good time, man. It was such a good time. You would sit there, and they wouldn't allow any alcohol. You weren't able to. You weren't allowed to drink alcohol while you were there. You also weren't allowed to curse. Everything else was more or less accepted. But it was a place for meditation, and so we got to sort of stare at the fire and maybe kind of talk to each other sometimes about whatever we felt like talking about. And I just found it was like a place of prayer and relaxation and thought, and I found that I could just let my thoughts flow and churn through all the things sort of that I've been kind of piling on my unconscious, that have just been piling up on my mind that I hadn't had a time to think about it because I'm online tweeting and twatting and working and stacking sats and doing all this stuff and so it's really nice to kind of pause and let the thoughts be processed. And anyway, you got somebody shit posting over here on on Periscope. I read your statement. Your spelling is almost as poor as your judgment. Okay, well, get the fuck out of here, Mr. Blitzstein. Thank you for your not very useful opinion. Yeah, so I don't know. It was a really good time. It was really nice to stare at a fire for a while. It's really nice to just stop and like just sit down and slow down. Found myself being going way like it just helped me realize that I was going way too fast in life. Just it was in this flow of like business and try to like build this thing and this other thing and like hustle, 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 work, 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 and engage in social media and post and this and that and get the likes and get the retweets and go for that and it was really nice to disconnect from all of it and stop and slow down and look at the fire and just think and contemplate and look at nature and so on. And yeah, I'm really happy that I did that, and I highly recommend taking a break and going to the woods. Um, because we are biological organisms. We are creatures of nature. It doesn't matter how digital everything is. It doesn't matter how it doesn't matter how sophisticated we are. At the end of the day, we're all biological creatures. We're mammals, and we require nature. We need to connect to Earth to some degree. We need to walk barefoot sometimes on the grass and get some fresh air and stop staring at a screen that's beaming blue light at your eyes. Suppressing your melatonin. 3 in the morning and it's good. It's good to be woken up by the sun and it's good to get sleepy at night and um yeah, it's good to be away from all this technology sometimes. So I really enjoyed that. Oh, I'm getting some audio interference. I read your statement anyway. Hold on, I'm getting some audio interference here. Oh, that's what this is. Sorry, I just clicked the button and now it's showing up. This guy's shit posting on the feed. Okay, there we go. I'm a total noob with this, by the way. I'm using a restream to stream to everything. So yeah, let's see. Do we got any more comments? I mean, I can cut this short if people aren't interested in it, but kind of enjoying talking a little bit about things. Flying a little. Now we can talk about Bitcoin if people want to talk about Bitcoin. Let's see. Yeah, so Jackalope. I mean, that was interesting. I think and there was a lot of little stores and a lot of crystals and a lot of bonfires and um. Anyway, I think I've said all I need to say about the Jackalope, but it was a beautiful event. We can talk about Bitcoin a little bit. Is anybody interested in Bitcoin? Is anybody watching this? Not sure that anybody is. There we go. Still happening. Dave G. We can get a guest in here. If anybody wants to come on the show and just hang out for a little bit, I'm down. Let's see. Yep. Anyway. I mean, I could talk about Bitcoin, but I just don't feel like it. I mean, it's pretty obvious we're breaking out. It's pretty obvious we're in bull market mode now. But I think we're gonna be kind of doing the zigzag all the way up for a while. Hey, Dave G, what's happening, man? You want to come on the show? How's it going, dude? Yeah, if you want to come on the show, let me know. I'll send you a link. If you dare come on the show, I'll send you a message. Oh yeah, the alien treehouse. Do you all know we have an alien treehouse? We created this virtual reality environment in VR chat. You know what? I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of it. Why not? Why not? VR. Oh shit, that was the wrong game. Let's turn that off. So this thing is fuck. Pushed the wrong button. Yeah, this thing is kind of like a game in virtual reality. You got to use Steam and Windows to get in it, and um, and it's kind of this place where you can sort of spend some time and hang out and talk to people. It's kind of like a social network, virtual reality social network. You might have seen a post about it here and there. And I'm gonna jump on and I'm gonna see if I can do a screen share about it in a few minutes. I'm just loading it up. And it's a pretty good time. I mean, it's really interesting. It's a different way to engage in social media. It's much more human way in a weird way to engage in social media because usually we're again you're typing, you know, you're doing the typing and you're doing all these communication that's not biometric and it's not voice based and it's not behavioral based, and it's not like VR chat solves all those problems or virtual reality solves all those problems yet. It doesn't really, but at least you get voice and at least you get behavior and at least you get a kind of new kind of style, and you can have different environments to sort of play ball in, and it's yeah, it's very interesting. It's a um very interesting world. Okay, we got Seamus MC. Seamus is a guy that I've had some conversations on Facebook and on social media with. He's very smart, very intellectual, very much a contrarian, I find. But so he's talking about. Oh my God, are you coming at Bitcoin again? Come on, dude. Come on. How much? How this guy's like an anti-Bitcoin guy. It's like, how are you gonna keep being an anti-Bitcoin guy until we hit $100,000? How long are you gonna be an anti-Bitcoin guy? Oh man, it's great. All right, I'm gonna have to close some things here to be able to show you the alien treehouse. I don't even know if I'm live anymore. I think I just crashed. Just crashed Brave. Let's see how it goes. Oh no. We've got some technical difficulties. Uh-oh. Well, there goes that. Hey, I'm back on. I think I'm back online. Am I back online? Live. Yeah, I'm live. Okay, great. Man, this restream software is fucking good. It's actually really good. All right, I think I'm back online now. Let's see. Sorry about that, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Am I back online here? Yep. Yeah, I think I am. Yeah, I'm still live. I'm still live, and it's just me watching. Cool. How exciting. Talking to myself over the internet live. Here, Seamus has some commentary. Yeah, I don't really feel like debating you about money, man. All right, I'm gonna show you guys the alien treehouse because why not? Share screen. All right, so here we go. Maximize shows only selected participants on screen. There we go. Cool. Dave is watching. Right on. So this is the alien treehouse. This is the sort of welcome screen. This kind of where you show up, and these are portals to other worlds. It's all a sort of Bitcoin themed alien treehouse, and it's called an alien treehouse because it's literally an alien treehouse. Look at that. This is the exit, obviously. An alien saucer right there. And the music's really nice. I don't know if you're getting any music um, either, but I'm going to show you this. Seamus is responding here. He says he's not debating either. I mean, it's a suggestion that could be helpful to put food in the now watcher's belly. Okay, I'll have a proper read at it, and I'll respond if you like. Appreciate the comment, man. Don't want me to shit post too hard. Oh my God, look at that! Isn't that cool? There's actually a flag, maybe more than one flag out here in the moon. You can actually see it over here. Well, you know what? I'm showing it off. When did I say that I wasn't going to show it off?
You said that people should come and experience it themselves, but it's way cooler.
It is way cooler. It's not the same to watch it from video because you don't have control over it. But you know what? I'm going to show it off because I don't really have anything else to talk about. So I'm just going to show it off. So why not? Yeah, eventually you just run out of things to talk about. I talked about Jackalope for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I ran out of it. Talked about the heart fire and other things.
Beautiful.
It was. It really is. I don't know if people can hear you, but you look fine. You look mighty fine, dear Russian. It's all right. We're not on video right now, so I mean we're not on camera. I don't know if you can hear. No, no. Please stay, Seamus. I don't mean to. I don't mean to push you away. So this is Bitcoin standard bear staff. Interestingly enough, we made that. This, there's real ones that Ugly Old Goat sells, and then a little bit of advertisement here and there. Appreciate the support, gentlemen. Podcasts and so on. Should be playing over here. You can just kind of create items here and play with them. And but that's not the main feature. You can also hear people and the audio is sort of localized. So if somebody's near you, you can hear them. If somebody's far away from you, you can hear them less. I find it is generally a little bit louder than it should be, but so I kind of actually turn down the volume of the voices on it so that I can actually have a conversation with people. Um, but yeah, it's actually pretty dope. And if you put on a VR headset, it feels a lot more real. It's actually very trippy. This is, for example, a magical staff. Just going to hold it from the right position. And if you hold it and you click use, it triggers fireworks. Because why not? Triggers fireworks. I'll leave this magical stuff over here. We have a bunch of different rooms. This is the club area. Club area is pretty nice. We haven't really made use of it yet, but it's very cool. And then there's all these sort of alien fruit that, because it's a tree and trees have fruits. So, obviously you gotta have some fruit. Oh yeah, and then there's this sort of magic pipe. I mean, container of sorts. And you can call it a tea kettle if you like, whatever floats your boat. And shit. Well then, I just fell off my own treehouse fruit. Hang on. A little map here that lets you teleport things. Yeah, there we go. So yeah. All right. I'm gonna respond to Seamus. I don't wanna. I don't wanna knock down his feedback. Let me just find it again. Oh, he deleted his comment. My apologies, mate. I don't know. I don't know why I got triggered. Okay. So this is the alien treehouse. Yeah. It's quite beautiful. Yeah, we made this with the support of, with the help of brilliant young VR developer, um, and she did a fantastic job. She really did. And I think this is a place where you could actually have like video events and conferences. You could actually have a bunch of people. We've had some up to like probably 15, 20 people at the same time, which is it's an interesting thing. I think the volume's a little bit too loud. I'm gonna see if there's anything that can be done about that, lowering the volume for everybody a little bit. But um, but I think in general it actually works. You could actually have an event at a place like this, and if everybody has VR headsets, then you can experience this in a 3 dimensional way, which is kind of cool. It's just kind of cool, kind of interesting. Um, it's a very different thing than we're all used to. So kind of like that about it. Um, yep. All right, I think that's all I'm gonna share about the Alien Treehouse. We have a bunch of art here, and want to add a bunch of Bitcoin history to it. I think that'd be a good time. But that will have to wait until we have some time and energy for it. The support of Dave, who's been helping us out and very sort of supportive and helpful and interested in the topic. So and the Alien Treehouse community. So you can go to alientreehouse.com. Let's stop the live stream here. You can go to alientreehouse.com and reach out to us and connect. We have a Telegram group where we talk about Alien Treehouse things and connect and do logistics and so on. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Got a new message. Thanks. I'll try to participate. Cool, man. Yeah, Seamus, if you wanna throw that message again, hopefully you made a copy of it. I'll try to engage. If you wanna come on the show for a little bit, we can talk about it. I don't wanna derail the show entirely to one topic, but not gonna lie, I'm kind of out of topics to talk about. So we might as well engage in some intellectual discussion. Let me just go on Facebook here. I'm just gonna drop the link over here on Facebook. Let's see what happens. I don't know if you have to create an account for it or anything, but oh my god, I can't believe I misspelled the name of the title. Like, of course I fucking did. Jesus. Woods. Here, bright light. Thanks for the live stream with Tyler yesterday. It was pretty good. Interesting that FTX have now added. Okay, great. It's a fucking scam. Comment. Appreciate it. Go flip yourself off. Yeah, YouTube is barely useful these days. Yeah, we got a retweet. It's probably my girlfriend.
Yes.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. I also spelled woods correctly for you.
I appreciate that as well.
Anytime.
I swear I'm not that drunk.
Yes.
Yet. Okay. So here it comes. I'm gonna take a shot at it. All right. This message in the book, quote, that the first 5,000 years. The second chapter is called, quote, the myth of barter. Quote, the idea is that barter was something you only did with enemies or travelers, But in communities, people issued their own currency in the form of ledgers. You just walked in, waved hello, picked up your eggs. They would mark down what you took for settlement at a later date. I think this approach will become useful when they fuck with the currency. Go do work for farmers or other people and get them indebted to you. Could be more valuable than money. Yeah, that's right. That's actually that's actually true. I mean, the problem is the money is meant to scale economies. It's meant to help you scale the utility of your product. And private ledgers don't scale because people can lie, and because humans are, you know, we have eyes to see, and these eyes sometimes show us how to screw other people over and get something now without having to pay for it. And so the sort of private small ledgers that are based on trust or on our ability are willing to trust other people. They don't really scale very well, and they also lead to conflicts, right? Like, if unless there's some sort of homogeneity to the society, to the small tribe, and if unless there's sort of very few ways to exit the system, right? Like in the small tribe, you're kind of stuck, right? You have a kind of very small prisoner's dilemma, is what it's called, and where you basically say, okay, well, if the ledger keeper of this particular, let's say, farming store or whatever, cheats, then it creates a conflict, and that conflict is echoed and replayed throughout the tribe real quick, and then suddenly people are paying attention, and they're gonna make a judgment on who's right, and they'll probably figure it out. And so you don't really have very much of an escape. And if you leave, well, you're alone in the woods or the jungle and or the desert, and what are you gonna do on your own? You're gonna die. So like it's the equivalent of prison and some sort of legal system, even if it's not, very organized or very structured. The consequences of bad behavior are not that different, with the exception of tyrannical governments and so on. And so that works at a very small scale, something like 150 to 250 people, but it doesn't scale. And so that's why we invented money. I think in general today, because the currency is being diluted, and because all these sort of scale institutions are being manipulated and politicized, and starting to become weaponized, especially communications, like all these sort of online communications are being weaponized, and politicized, and used as surveillance mechanisms. Then yeah, I think it starts to make a lot more sense to reconnect with the local, to go back to the local, to go back to your roots, to go back to, or at least sort of build communities locally wherever you are, wherever you decide to be, and connect to the food, those who make food, those who deliver food, and then connect to, whatever your needs are. Go find the source and go direct. And that's tricky because they might not want money. You know, no, they're gonna want money. Today they want money, and thank God they do. Because you can keep doing your thing online or whatever you're gonna work in. But um, but it's good to build relationships with people that deliver you what you need, because otherwise you might suffer more than necessary. So Seamus says, "Yeah, you're absolutely right. I just mean more valuable than money during the fuckery, the Great Reset, if you will." Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. No, I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of bunker down and build community, and go local, and become more independent, and invest in your own sovereignty, because the shit that's coming. I mean, I guess we'll find out. You know, it's very easy to be a prophet and very easy to be wrong while doing so. So who knows how it's gonna play it out? But it doesn't look good. I gotta tell you, the structure looks a little shaky, and if it starts to crumble, it's bad. And it could. The thing is, like, if people wish it, everything can go to hell real fast. It's a negative feedback loop, and people feed it, and then it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And thank God there's good people out there pushing back, and we have to be good, and we have to push back. Otherwise things can we can go back to the Middle Ages real fast, and possibly worse places. And so Um, so yeah, I mean, I think holding ground and standing for what's right, and defending your territory to some degree or another is important. But also just taking care of your own needs, and connecting with people that are helping you do that, and helping them in whatever they need as well, right? So building community. That's what it comes down to. America, I find America um, very distributed, very. They've outsourced everything. They've outsourced the care of their elder. They've outsourced their food supply. They've outsourced their energy production. They've outsourced everything. I mean, it's not like other countries haven't as well. It's not to pick on Americans, but like America's at a sort of at the heart of global culture in some sense or another, and they're also they also have the levers of power that can end the world, and so it matters. So it matters to talk about American culture, and other countries that are less wealthy have a lot more community because they're less wealthy, and the tribe has been shredded in the United States, and it's actually people are trying to find their tribes now because that shreddedness has opened them up to political fuckery, and so now people are like looking around, being like, okay, well, shit, if things get real bad, who am I gonna cuddle up with, right? Who am I gonna collaborate with, and I think that's an important topic for the whole world, in general. We need to build community, and but also be reasonable, and I think it's very easy to become cynical, and so on. So anyhow, um something else Seamus says, I just see credit with farmers, etc., as a 4 to 6 month survival strategy throughout this period. I agree with everything you've said about the necessity of money, especially to leave the community travel, perform economic calculation. Yeah, yeah. So money helps you scale beyond the immediate tribe. It's a replacement for reputation. It's a replacement for credibility, and for trust and confidence. Cash is liquid credibility, but cash only works if other people accept it, and they only accept things that are generally functionable as cash, but also understood as cash. And the dollar today serves that purpose. It's not going to serve it. It's obviously in decline, but even though it's stronger than ever in some ways, but gold has served that purpose in some sense before. And anyway, you got to have something that you can trade in with strangers. You need to find a way to do business with strangers, and money serves that purpose. Otherwise, you got to have a good relationship with everything, and that's impossible. So yep, that's how it goes. I have 0 viewers on Twitter, and not very many on Facebook, and not many on YouTube. I believe this is a conspiracy. I'm gonna go ahead and call it shadow banning, and I think I'm getting real close to ending this stream in general. But you know what? I like this. I just wanted to rant a little bit. I appreciate the feedback, Seamus, and everybody else that commented. And I might do this again sometime again. If yeah, I think I might do it again sometime. Anything else? Should I talk about anything else, babe? I pumped phone hot already.
About how Hollywood is a conspiracy.
You hear
Tell
that?
us about how they're enslaving humanity and how we need to start fucking ignoring them
That's right.
so they don't really grow anymore.
All right. To the 0 people that are listening to this podcast right now, this is very important, and I hope you pay attention. Um, in discussions with Anastasia, we're starting to think that there's some sort of like we're kind of playing out narratives. We're like playing out stories, and these stories have been created and written by very creative people. And these very creative people have written out very often dystopian novels, right? You got 1984, Animal Farm, Brave New World. Um, that other one where they try to predict that you're going to be a criminal in the future and then they just slap you in jail. Apparently, that's becoming. We're getting close to that one. And there's all kinds of other fiction that we're actually like walking into because when you consume narrative, when you consume a story, you're downloading ideas. You're downloading ideas into your unconscious, and those ideas seed your worldview. And if you're particularly not that creative, and creativity is something that you can cultivate, but it's also something that you, to some degree, are born with. You're born with this seed of creativity, and you can also cultivate it. We all have creativity, some creativity, but some we have more creativity than others. And so when you download all these ideas via narrative, then suddenly they are become like light bulbs in the woods and in the jungle, and they illuminate a particular path. But that doesn't mean that that's the only path, and it doesn't mean that it's a good path. It just means that there's a path that has been illuminated. And so suddenly we find ourselves walking and living and acting out these narratives. Um and that's not necessarily what they're supposed to be, right? Like 1984 was a warning, but people have also called it predictive programming. And fuck, are we in 1984, aren't we? There's double speak everywhere, and um, their surveillance grid is otherworldly. Even though it's actually yeah, it's actually not that useful. Apparently, politically, it's quite interesting how that's playing out. But anyway, maybe we need some creative people to write out some new narrative and give us some optimism. Next time, Shorn signature, says Dave G. Yeah, we'll have to figure out what the fuck a Shorn signature is. I knew it once when I talked to Adam back at Unconfiscatable, but I've already forgotten. So we'll have to remember again. Um, so yeah, be careful what narratives, what stories you play out, and if you're a storyteller, I think we need some optimistic paths out of this strange dilemma we're with this whole COVID crap and all the other stuff that's going on. We need a hero's journey story. We need an optimistic tale of thriving and challenge in the post 2020 era. I think that'd be good for the world.
Also, does anybody have a private jet that might be going to Russia
Yeah, if
soon?
anybody's going to Russia and has a private jet, please hook us up. We're willing to contribute in many different ways that are lower than what, $700, because that's what it costs
My
to bounce
sister
around.
and I are great company. We will teach you lots of very interesting things. We're charming and we're funny and we're super cute too.
But they're no traffickers allowed. They're
no,
not.
we deal with those in very serious ways, and they don't survive it.
That's right. So don't fuck around. Fuck around and found out, bitch. Anyway, thanks for watching. The two people that are watching, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you very much. And that was definitely the wrong title for this live stream. Have a good time. Bye bye.